Welcome to another episode of VMblog's video interview series. Today, we're excited to have with us Simon Townsend, who's the Chief Marketing Officer of IGEL. I think this might be your first time doing a video interview with VMblog outside of the normal trade shows. Is that right?
It is. We've done a lot of those trade shows recently, but very pleased to be here today.
So I want to jump right in. I think one of the important things that's coming up is next month we have IGEL's Disrupt event. I was wondering if you could tell VMblog listeners a little bit about that event and maybe talk about the focus and how long you guys have been hosting these.
Yeah, sure. No problem at all. So the event that we're referring to is called Disrupt. You can go to www.disrupteuc.com and you can obviously find out more. But the whole purpose of Disrupt is really to create an end user computing cloud workspaces focused event for both partners and customers and the community and vendors, and to bring those folks together all in one place to discuss both in Nashville and in Munich everything that is end user computing related. Many of us have been in this industry for 10, 15, 20 plus years, and we all know that, once a year Citrix hold their event, and as part of VMworld, there's a small part of that dedicated to end user computing. And we've perhaps been to Bri forums in the past and various other end user computing type events. But over the last couple of years, the number of those events, particularly in Europe, but also in the States, the number of those events has started to decline. And IGEL felt it was quite important to try and keep that community, end user computing passion alive. And hence, this is now arguably the third event that we've done, the third year that we've done it at this size. And it really is an opportunity to get everybody from all aspects of end user computing together for 2.5 days in two separate locations, and to obviously update each other and share knowledge on what's going on in the space.
Yeah, I'm real excited. We've Brian and I have both gone to to every one of the Disrupt events so far, and I agree. It's you guys have definitely filled a really important niche right now, trying to have events that cover end user computing, because there really aren't that many anymore, and end user computing is once again really hot right now. So I'm glad you guys are doing it both in North America and in EMEA, and you kind of talked about that. What do you know the dates, the specific dates for the one in Nashville and the one in Munich?
I do indeed. So the Nashville event is actually kicking off on Monday, January the 27th. And that will run for 2.5 days. It starts in the afternoon of the Monday, so we allow people to travel on Monday morning. Monday afternoon, there is some training and some education that takes place, and I'll come back to that in a second. And then the main event and the keynotes kick off on Tuesday morning, followed by a whole host of breakout sessions and a closing keynote on the Wednesday. So it's January the 27th to the 29th in Nashville. And then for the Munich event, we're actually at the same location we were last year. It's a great resort and conference center, and that event is February the 4th to the 6th. So it's actually the week after Nashville. So we go to Nashville on the 27th. We do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Everybody then gets on a plane, and we then go and meet all of our EMEA friends on that's actually the Tuesday afternoon that starts and goes through until the Thursday afternoon. So February the 4th to the 6th at the Affinity Hotel in Munich.
So Simon, what can the attendees expect to get out of their experience with Disrupt 2020?
Education, I would have said, was the first thing. We're living in a world now where end user computing and the way we deploy Windows desktops and applications is evolving and moving at an incredibly fast rate, more so than I've ever seen in the last 20 years. if I roll the clock back 5-10 years ago, it was very easy. You either deployed Windows on a laptop or a PC, or you deployed it on Citrix. And if you wanted to know what was happening in the world of Citrix terminal services, then you went to the one event every year, and they would tell you what was coming in the latest release. We're now in a world where there are multiple ways in which organizations can deploy Windows and Windows-based applications. Desktop virtualization, desktop as a service, application virtualization, the list is endless. And in many cases, that can be deployed both on-prem, hybrid, or in the cloud. And what we're finding is that change is happening at a significantly faster pace. And so organizations, ourselves included, we have to try and keep up with what's going on in those markets. And that's not always easy. It's not easy to know, particularly in the cloud where things are evolving in a far more agile way. It's very easy sometimes to miss, releases that may have just dropped only a week ago or might be dropping in 2 weeks' time. So the real purpose and the real benefit of coming to Disrupt is that you've got all of these major players, Microsoft, Citrix, VMware, Amazon, all of the ecosystem partners, IGEL, Device Trust, NVIDIA, ControlUp, Login VSI, Liquidware, all of the people that are involved in end-user computing are there, and they're all part of either the keynotes, they're sponsoring the sessions, or they're delivering breakout sessions. And it is a very, very good way to absorb all of the change that's taking place. And if you look at some of the speakers, not just the sponsors that are going, you've got people from end user community that have been in this business for a very long time, speakers that are out there day in, day out, deploying these technologies to their customers. And so we try to bring together a wealth of updates, product announcements, and experience, and share that with obviously the 500, 600 people that attend the event.
And
wow.
So out of all those, you mentioned a lot of the companies that are going to be there presenting. What are some of the hot topics that they're going to be talking about at the event?
Yeah. So the number one hot topic, I don't think I need to tell you guys and your viewers at the moment, is obviously around Microsoft Windows Virtual Desktop. And I mentioned that there was some training and some education that's taking place on day one of the event in both locations. And that actually is a 4-hour technical deep dive boot camp that's being delivered by Microsoft on Windows Virtual Desktop. So at the moment, the places for that are filling up extremely quickly, as you can imagine. But if you want to come on day one on that Monday of Nashville, or day one the Tuesday in Munich, you can register for the event, but you can also choose to arrive early and spend 4 hours with some of the Microsoft global black belts, being educated and learning about the latest advancements in Windows Virtual Desktop. And bear in mind that Windows Virtual Desktop isn't just a technology, it's a new way of consuming Windows licensing. And as such, VMware and Citrix are going to have solutions, as have others like CloudJumper, another sponsor at the event, solutions which will sit on top of Windows Virtual Desktop as well. And what this gives us is a way to both understand, okay, what are the commercial implications and benefits of moving to Windows Virtual Desktop, but also technically, how do I get myself started? How can I spin up machines? How can I start to load balance those? What regions are they going to be available? What's the feature set contained within them? And then once you've attended that boot camp, you've then got another 2 days to go and speak to all of these ecosystem partners who then provide solutions that add value on top of that technology, and understand how those technologies integrate as well. So that Windows Virtual Desktop Bootcamp, running in both locations by the Microsoft Global Black Belts, is obviously very, very important. The other thing I would say is that Citrix have invested in sponsoring both locations as well. They've been a sponsor of the event and obviously a partner of IGEL's for a very, very long time. They have got dedicated tracks running throughout the 2 days. And so there are numerous breakout sessions, I think well in excess of 8 or 9 of them throughout the 2 days, where you can actually go and spend some time listening to what Citrix is doing around Citrix on top of Windows Virtual Desktop, the Citrix Managed Desktops technology, what they're doing with their intelligent workspace. And so there's a real opportunity there to get trained by technical systems engineers and trainers on what Citrix is doing in this space as well. And in fact, I would say that, for 90%, 95% of all of the sessions that we've got running, and the agenda is now published on the website, all of those sessions are being delivered by technical people. These are people that are experienced either for the vendor that they work for or in the end user computing space. These aren't sales presentations. In many cases, these are technical, in-depth sessions that actually provide, quite significant value to those people in the room.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the nail on the head, right? I think for Brian and I, as we've gone through Disrupt from the beginning, right? The list of sponsors that you listed and the detail, the focus around end user computing, you guys, like I said, you filled a niche. The space is hot right now, and there's a lot of technical training that goes on. And I've talked to different people, whether it's at VMworld or Citrix Synergy. People are hungry to learn and to dive in and see what's available to them in this end user computing space. And Disrupt is a great event to really fill that need. One of the you talked about a lot of the training and the technical breakouts. Are there any particular speakers this year that you're excited to hear from?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you raise another point that I'll just touch on as well. Lots of people historically have looked at Disrupt as the IGEL event. Last year, I think we proved that wasn't the case. It wasn't an EUC event. And I think if you look at the list of sponsors who are constantly being added to the website at the moment, by the way, but there's 25 plus sponsors now involved across those two cities. And if you look at the attendees, the mix of attendees, community members, vendors, customers and speakers, please, I'd beg anyone, don't think that this is an IGEL event that people are coming to. Sure, IGEL took the lead. It costs us an amount of money to put on it. It costs me and my team a load of sleepless nights trying to organize it. And it is hosted by us, but it's jointly hosted really by us and the sponsors and the community that comes together to be part of it. So, I just wanted to try and get that across. This is EUC, not necessarily just an IGEL event. In answer to your question, Simon Binder, I think, has been a couple of times. Simon Binder's back this year, very well known in the Microsoft space for, particularly in EMEA, for deploying Windows and Office 365. I mentioned those Microsoft black belts who are really focused on promoting WVD. I mean, whether it's Tom Hickling from the UK, whether it's Christian Brinkerhoff, whether it's Jim Moyle, whether it's Michelle Roth, whether it is Scott Manchester himself is coming and delivering the keynote for us. We're obviously extremely excited about what we're doing with Microsoft. I'm pleased to say Benny Tritch is back talking about protocols and bandwidth. Thomas Poppelgaard is back in the EMEA session talking about end user computing, virtual reality, 3D graphics again. And then we've got, Gartner as well. So, two of those keynotes are delivered by Gartner. So it's Mr. Lockwood and Nathan Hill from Gartner will be delivering their view on end user computing, both in Nashville and in Munich. Other familiar names would be Nabil from Citrix, for instance, Ruben from Nutanix, Spencer Pitts from VMware, and a whole host of other well-known industry people that have been working in this end-user computing industry for a very, very long time. And a lot of them have now moved. They work for some of the vendors that are sponsoring, but a lot of them are still very much independent, and they just bring with them a whole wealth of experience and knowledge that they obviously love to share. But if you go to the Disrupt website, and depending on whether you're interested in Nashville or Munich, you can obviously click on at the location and you can dive straight into see who those sponsors are. Patrick Goebel, DJ Eschman, would be another two that I would sort of name over in the States, along with Dane Young. I know is also very well thought of out there in the US as well.
Okay. Well, thanks, Simon. I understand that you guys have a promo that you're doing with VMblog. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So Disrupt typically costs about $200, but I'm pleased to announce that anyone that's listening to this video and has obviously sat through me talking for far too long, I thank them for that. But if you act quickly and you use the VMblog code, which I know you guys will promote under the video and flash up in a second, use that VMblog code. You can click on enter promo code and you can actually get a free ticket to the event. And so, the first, I think 20 people that watch this video and enter that code, we'll give them a free ticket so they can come along. And we'd love to see as many of your viewers there as possible.
That's great. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with VMblog today, and we look forward to the event.
No, I thank you both for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in about a month's time again.